Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Warren. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about your very intriguing foundation?
The foundation was set up specifically to, the tagline is empowering South African communities, but it's really set up to work with mothers and children in South Africa to help them recreate community. And I'll talk about my personal vision as it shows up in a little bit later. But there's a question I'd like to ask, and it's actually two questions. And that is simply this, is do the children in your life know that you love them? And do they know why you love them? Now, I've asked that question of a lot of audiences, and it gets a lot of people thinking. And a lot of people think about their own children and wonder, I wonder how they would really answer. A lot of them would go, oh yeah, of course I know you love me. But why do you love me is the more important question, is really engaging. So it's not a greeting, which a lot of people use I love you for, but it is actually engaging in, why do you love me? What is it about me that you love? And that's what we want our children to know, and my children know that. The purpose that we have is we have a core focus, and it's really based off my own personal vision from when I was a very young child, and I was in an environment that was really diverse. I worked in a factory at a young age, even though I was still at school, and the people that I worked with were a different color to me, different language to me, different culture to me, and so I was involved in a very diverse environment very, very early on.
And of course, this was in South Africa.
It was in South Africa, and as a result, got to meet and work with and speak to and engage with a lot of different members of the community, including mothers and children. And I've always wanted to work with mothers and children, particularly when you look at the effects or the after effect, and some might call it the aftermath of the apartheid regime's policy, which was industrialization in its extreme. There wasn't a migrant labor force, there was a displaced labor force. They didn't move them from place to place, they moved them away. And that's created and destroyed the family unit. So our focus is to work with mothers and children, as I said, and we want to help them break the chain of their parents' past prejudice so that they can truly, as children, think, learn, and make decisions for themselves while still preserving their own cultures and reestablishing, in a lot of cases, some of the practices that have now been lost within those cultures. What we want to do in the meantime is help repair that family unit. Because of that migrant labor policy, that extreme policy, the father figure almost disappeared in these townships, in these rural areas as well as the urban townships, because the father was displaced out of the family. And in some cases started up a second family, in some cases was that visitor that came at the end of the year because they were allowed to go home once a year at Christmas time. And the rest of the time, they were that person that sent money, if the kids were that lucky. And so what we want to do is help repair that family unit. And what underlies everything that we're doing is we want to help manage scarce resources. A lot of people talk about sustainability. Well, you need something to sustain. And if you've got limited resources, we want to underlie the fact that the resources are in fact limited. And therefore, how do we manage those and use them in an effective and productive manner that we're managing that resource while creating a sustainable process? And that's where we want to work. Our purpose is simply, we want to help people. We want to work with people and help them. And that is the service that we provide. We want to have that respect for everybody, understanding that every individual does matter, irrespective of what their background is and where they came from. We want to help them. Caring, is one of them. One love, one heart, in that we truly care about and want to engage with the people that we are working with, so that they understand that we do care and we're not there to make ourselves feel good. We're there because we truly care about helping them get to where they would like to get to. That connectedness of bringing different people from different cultures together, because there are multiple cultures. There is a mosaic in South Africa in particular. And even across, a lot of people say, well, there's lots of black people. No, there's lots of people that are from different tribes. They're not black people, they're different tribal people. There's Xhosas, there's Zulus, there's all kinds of tribes that are involved, and languages. And so we want to connect to all of those and understand what are the needs that they have as an indigenous culture and as a people today. We want to work with people in a collaborative manner. So we don't want to recreate everything. We want to learn from what other people have learned and been very successful at, and then learn from the mistakes that other people have made so that we don't repeat those same mistakes. We want to have a community consciousness so that all people are seen as individuals, and the expression as an individual of that person is seen within the community, held within the community, and supports that community's development. We want to provide opportunities. I think of when I was a child growing up, I was given a lot of opportunities, and I took advantage of a lot of those, and some of them I didn't. But I at least want to give the people that I'm working with the opportunity to be able to decide if they want to take advantage of an opportunity, not never get the opportunity put in front of them. We want to go back to the roots and understanding, where people have come from, where they are today, because it has changed them. But where they came from is still important, while breaking that cycle of prejudice. The people that are involved are myself, my dad, who is my hero, my son Kyle, who's a really amazing man, young man, and then Helen Lieberman, who has really lived this and worked this in South Africa for a long period of time, nearly 50 years. And she's a mentor and a guide to me personally, so that I don't misstep as many times as I might without her there. And that's a comfort to have her there, and she's really an amazing lady. Our causes are this. We have a cause called My Business, My Community, where we help young adults, mothers and children, to establish businesses. And I say children as well, because remember, we have child-led households, and they need to generate an income. And so we are helping them to create a business. My World, My Garden is taking the requirement for food and turning that into providing for that sustainability, as far as health sustainability and providing good food, as well as growing gardens that can support communities and ultimately create businesses around those. We have My Family, My Community, which is in fact completely rebuilding in place where they are, the same footprint, but just the right in the right size communities, and in fact communities that are greened communities, both from a environmental perspective, but also from the perspective of the trees and indigenous plants that are within the community. And then My First Steps, My Path is our early childhood development program, where we are working with children to instill in them the creativity and the imagination and the passion for who they are as individuals, as well as who they are within their own cultures and within their own communities today. And then My Mentor, My Coach is a leadership program where we're working with already established leaders within the community, people that are already recognized as leaders within the communities, the social workers, the community workers, the ministers and pastors, the indigenous practitioners within the community, the teachers, and some of the young children. And what we're doing is enhancing or providing them with skills for them to be able to mentor people within the community to support each of the other causes. But at the same time, we're providing them with support in teaching them coping skills, because a lot of what they hear is pretty tough. And so we're giving them the skills to be able to deal with those. How do you get involved? Well, you can get involved as an individual by making monthly and or one-time contributions or periodic contributions. We like monthly. And you can support the whole foundation or a specific cause, and this goes for any one of the programs. There's corporate programs that we can take into your company, and we can have you adopt a rural village or a specific family or an individual that you support, or a cause that you're going to support. We do the same things within school programs. And we also look to people that can make one-time grants or make bequeath to us funds out of a will or things like that that we can use to support the overall foundation and all its causes, or again, one of the individual causes that are involved. The foundation really is set up as, I term it as, it's the facilitator of all of the things that we can bring to the table, the skills, the experience, the funding, and the resources that we will facilitate those and build those with the community into what they see their community should be. And what we do is look for people to help us support those, as well as even getting involved personally and contributing time or skills, because we certainly don't know everything, and we've got a lot to learn and a long road to go on, but it's a very, very exciting road. So I'm going to ask you a question again. Do the children of the world know that we love them? And do they know why we love them?
Excellent questions. I hope that everybody gets a better idea of what your organization is about, and obviously on the website they'll find additional information and videos and updates on your progress. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.